send me some sorry lines.
Hi, I'm Kira.
And I'm Ilysa.
You're watching episode 6 of Polymer Clay TV, and today we're going to talk about jewelry, which is a very popular thing that people like to make from polymer clay. So we're going to show you how to make pendants from a stamped image. And we have chosen this stamp by Stamp Zia, and we really like it because it has 8 different designs on it. And each one, there's a peacock feather, a dragonfly, not sure what that is, it's like an abstract design, a ginkgo leaf, a feather, this looks like maybe a lotus,
Yes, I think
another abstract kind of a moth looking design, and this
a bird.
It
A
looks
heron
like
maybe.
a crane or
Or
a heron.
crane, yeah.
So it's 8 different designs from one stamp. And another thing that you want to look for when you're creating jewelry is the right size. These are sized appropriately for something that you would want to wear on your neck. So we can, here's one made with this dragonfly. They translate really nicely into pendants. So this necklace here was made with a couple of stringing holes put into the side, like on this one, and it's embellished with some canes. And we're going to go into all of the different techniques you've learned so far. You can stamp these with inks, you can rub pigments onto them, put little cane pieces on there, anything you want to do. Here, this one actually has some holes poked into it to add to the design of the outside frame that was put around it. You can go wild with jewelry and just do anything you'd like. So Ilysa has some others out in front of her, and then we're going to show you make a couple of them.
Right. This one here, I've added some Swarovski crystals onto it. I stamped the pendant, added a little extra dimension, a little swirl on the side, and I had a really nice pendant there. And actually I had to add a little extra clay on the back because I wanted to poke a hole going through this way. And in order to do that, I had to make sure it was thick enough so it wouldn't break. I don't want to take a chance of it breaking by being too thin. So that's that one. Here's that crane Kira showed you. And there's holes on both sides, and that's so you can string it up. And I've added a hole, oh, on this one I didn't, but you can add a hole down at the bottom and you can dangle things as well. So that's another option. Here's another one where I've added some ink, a little powdered pigments, and added a little bit. I've just used my bamboo skewer and gone right around making holes. This one, I've added a little clay around the edge and used my bamboo skewer to just kind of push in on it to get this neat effect. And then this one, I've added ink to it. So I've stamped and then I've actually gone back with my bamboo skewer. So Kira's going to show you how we made one of those pendants.
Yep, and I'm going to do this dragonfly. And put some holes in it for stringing it from the sides and dangling a bead off the bottom. So first I've got a mix of pearl and silver clay that turns into a nice kind of light silver, and I've already kneaded it up and gotten it nice and warm to work with, and I'm just going to roll it into a somewhat thick piece here.
Yes, you want to, if you're going to be adding that hole from the side like I did, you want to use a thicker piece.
Right.
But if you're going to punch the holes into it yourself, you can go a little thinner because we're using Primo brand clay, and Primo still remains flexible, so it's very much less likely to break.
Right. And also, when you're making your jewelry, you have to think about, these, I'm going to be putting either string or a jump ring on here, and a jump ring on the bottom to hold whatever is going to dangle off. So it's got to be thin enough that you can wire it up or put a ring on it, but also thick enough that it's not going to break. So you have to sort of eyeball that. And this I'm just going to put on here. The way I like to do it is to actually press it in with my fingers. And this stamp is pretty deeply impressed, so I'm not too worried about the impression that I get. I think I'm going to get a good impression if I put some medium pressure on here. And this green rubber is pretty good. It releases the clay pretty easily. So I'm just going to lift it up, and I've got a pretty good impression right there.
Yeah, and that was without any kind of releasing
Right,
agent.
I didn't need to put anything on there.
And that's a different consistency, that rubber, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's
It's good
Garcia,
because
yeah.
it sometimes it's frustrating to work with because it doesn't hold on to the clay as tightly as some other pink rubbers do, but I find it nice because I don't have to put a release on it, and then if I'm
Right.
just careful and I make sure not to move it around on the rubber too much, then it just pops right off.
Right. It's probably more effective to do your way with this
Yeah.
stamp, because I like to roll my rod over it, and it could move that way.
Right.
So it's probably better to just use your fingers to press it in.
Yeah.
And
So now I'm just going to poke some holes so that after I poke my holes I'm going to ink it up, and I don't want to have to touch it too much after I do that. So I'm just going to make a small hole by twisting, and I feel it on my finger, so once I feel it poke through I turn it over and poke the hole back through from the other side. And I'm just going to do that on all the corners of this one.
And when you're making your hole, make sure to twist your bamboo skewer as you
Yeah.
go, so you get a nice clean hole.
Yep. It's important, especially when you have a design that you've just carefully stamped, not to mess with the clay too much and pull on it, because you want the design to stay. So here I'm going to use some Sukaneko Rocket Red Gold Brilliance Dewdrop ink, and I'm going to use the pad and just stamp it onto the raised areas of that design.
The red rocket's a really cool
Yeah,
color.
it's a pretty color.
Yeah. It's a neat mix of colors.
Yeah. So now I can imagine this pendant going with maybe some carnelian beads or some red glass, and it would look really nice. So I don't want to touch it too much. Just lift it up like that so you can see it.
You can just fire it
And
like that.
Just bake it on your cookie sheet or whatever you use in your oven, and it's done.
There's 8 different ones, and I promise you won't get bored.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. We did.
So we will be showing which one, Ilysa, the blue one?
Yes, we're going to be showing this blue one on our download. And you can find that at polymerclayproductions.com. Thanks for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed it. We did.
You send me some sorry lines, but passion undying, that the oceans can't subside. The storm blew from behind with all of your lies. You pushed me aside. I traveled the world for you, straight like a fool. The cobalt truth. Nobody wants to know. Nobody knows me, no. Nobody even cares. No, no. I see a scream, shout and mourn, cry in a hushed tone, and I struggle for air. Rougher seas, dark shade of blue, the frozen winds of my solitude, a sudden turn